Lately, I find myself really struggling with what is occurring in our current environment in terms of race relations. I never thought in this day and age that I'd have to speak to my youngest son about being called a monkey, being shot by the police, or being called the N word. Unfortunately, this is what's happening today. Racism is truly showing its ugly face in just about every aspect of our society. We're seeing modern day slave trading going on in Libya. The President of the United States is making racist comments toward African Americans, Hispanics, aliens, elves, Vulcans, minions. He don't give a damn. He don't give a damn about anybody. He's calling people from what he's literally called shithole countries, talking about foreign immigrants. The NFL and its owners have been in turmoil for their controversial handling of black players who are protesting the national anthem to shed light on the increase of blacks being killed by police. After the presumed progress that was made by the election and success of the first black president of the United States, Barack Obama, it seems that we have taken a huge step backwards in terms of race relations in this country. It seems and feels more like 1968 than 2018. 1968, which happens to be the year I was born, was consisted of a civil unrest, riots, protests, racial disharmony. We should have learned from 50 years ago of history what happens when institutional racism reaches a boiling point, as it did in 1968. Although I was just an infant, I imagine that current times are eerily similar to what was going on back then. I gather my thoughts, I do my very best to manage my emotions while containing my own frustrations. I diligently try to share and impart something to the youth in my network, some information that will be uplifting, inspiring, productive, yet not hateful. This is understandably challenging because it is easy to react with anger when facing hate and racism. I often share how, as a young college student, I was very angry, a very angry young black man, when I began learning of the history of racial terrorism that has been inflicted on people of color in the United States. I also joked at how I was the blackest student on the San Francisco State campus. I was nicknamed Malcolm Farrakhan X. I was very black.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm back.
Later, as I matured, I began to understand that the spirit of hate does not exist in every person, regardless of their skin color. So I continue to struggle to make sure that I am utilizing my relatively small platform for the greater good. So what do I say to you and my very own son, who are my primary target audience is African American males? But what do I say to even my own son? How do I best deal with the current racial climate? How to deal with it? The message tends to be generated towards self-navigation. I conclude that the world issues of hate and racism is not going to be resolved in our generation, in our lifetime. However, we can do our very best to avoid and minimize the effects of racism by how we react and respond to it. We can also do a much better job of holding participants of institutional racism accountable by not supporting those corporations, companies, individuals, or agencies. A colleague of mine recently and a friend started a social media campaign called the No Buy List, not the No Fly List, the No Buy List, which calls out companies that have demonstrated racist, unfair, or discriminatory practices, such as the NFL, American Airlines, Papa John's Pizza, and most recently H&M clothing outlet, for depicting a young black boy with a sweatshirt reading "The coolest monkey in the jungle. How dare you?" Wow. So the critical message to today's youth generation is this: do not support racist organization. Why help finance your oppressor? Be careful where your money goes. This youth generation, Deon Price, is a humble servant trying to make a difference. Support this movement. Support this line of programming. Subscribe to the channel. Spread the word. Share.